Welcome to High Oracle's Reiki Spiritual Healing Channel. And on this particular video, I just wanted to talk to you about different kinds of chosen ones who do not know their purpose, who have not walked into their purpose. And usually when you meet these types of chosen ones, then you will understand that they are able to understand that they have a gift, but not necessarily know how to use it for the purpose that God had given it to them. So, this kind of blessing or gift will be bestowed upon, those hustlers or, those drug dealer guys. And they are very funny. They're very funny in, using their gifts and discernment in order to not be seen, in order to cloak themselves, in order to remove themselves from danger, in order to know when something isn't right, the air is very still. So, and like I say, I used to hang out with these dudes and these women, and, we used to have whole block parties, and, it was very funny. It was very funny to see them maneuver their way, but they do not apply this type of their gift, to something that is wholesome, that will bring them a better understanding of what their purpose is for, to benefit others. And so when they stay in this way so long, that God will take away those gifts from them, and leave them destitute. Okay, so that's one of the things that I wanted to say to you, that I like to, see different people operate in their gifts. For me, and like I say, when I was operating in a low vibrational state, then I would go and hang out with the Russians. I would go and hang out, on the north side of Georgia, on the north side of Atlanta, in Buckhead. I would go, to the club over there, or hang out with my friends over there, because, I didn't fit in with, those hustlers and those women who were, hustlers in the hood, in the ghetto. So it was a problem. They didn't like my presence. I irritated their demons. So, I would just go and hang out, and they would always wonder, why is she over there with the Russians? Why is she going up there to Buckhead? Why does she work up there and she lives over here? But, I already knew. I could feel the plot. I could feel the negative energy. I could feel the monitoring spirits, so I would just go somewhere where, I felt more welcomed at. Okay, and this is what happened, and a lot of them understand. This is what you have to understand. A lot of those people that I'm talking about now, they know that they cannot, come back into my life because of their behavior. They didn't understand that I understood their body language. And in speaking of such, let's move on to, another type of understanding that chosen ones will have. It is a gift that is only given to chosen ones. There are certain chosen ones that can not only, just read hands or palms. We understand that there are certain people that God has given the ability to read the molds on people's skin, to read their destiny that is on their body, the imprint that is on their body. God has given certain chosen ones the ability to read people's forehead. Okay? See, these are some of the things that people don't talk about, because, you're wondering why a person can pick up on your frequency, because they've already read your forehead. Oh, that's a homeboy right there. He's been to jail. He's not scared of nothing. That's a homegirl right there. She's had to, get some people told. Okay, she's had to straighten some people on the block. She's not afraid. Okay, so these are the types of things when people can read, you know, the signatures on your skin. When people can read the signatures on your body, there are, you know, some chosen ones that can read the bottom of people's feet. Okay, it tells a story. Just like your hands, just like your skins, just like those moles on you, just like your forehead. You know, there are certain types of chosen ones. And so I usually just keep this information to myself. But, you know, I wanted to let you guys know, because a lot of you think that a person may be staring at you. A person may feel like they already know you when they meet you, because, you know, they have picked up on certain frequencies. They have read certain, you know, stories about you, those fragments about you in your face, in the lines on your face. You're not a bad person, but you've been through something. Okay, you know, you're not ready, you know, to go there. You're willing to go there, you know, if you have to. Don't push me, because I'm close to the edge already. So these are the understandings that, you know, certain chosen ones, they can read the signs in nature. When you have these types of chosen ones, they usually stay or are standoffish from people, because those types of frequency, you know, with you being a part of nature, and they can pick up on nature that, you know, it's going to be a hot summer, it's going to be a drought, a tornado is coming. You know, we need to prepare to make sure that we have enough food and all of those things. When we have those types of chosen ones that can, you know, understand the signs that are up on the earth, the signs that are in nature, the signs that God has given to us, then, you know, that is also a very inclined chosen one, that we don't want to, you know, we don't want to make them mad. We don't want to tick them off, because, you know, they feel a lot of frequencies coming at them already. Okay, so, you know, those are the ones that people will be afraid of, because, you know, they'll be able to tell you things, you know, because they can pick up on the fragments that are left by your signature, that are left in nature, that God has given to them as signs. So, you know, we also want to understand there is, you know, another type of chosen one that I want to, you know, just elaborate with you guys for a little bit. Those types of chosen ones that get their signatures, their signs, they get their download, they discern numbers. Those types of chosen ones are very intelligent, because, you know, where we will see, 1222, that person automatically knows that, you know, you're going to be balanced. You're on a journey of balancing one time. You know, it may be, right now you're going through that. Sometimes you will have a person that can discern the numbers of 967. So that means that you're also going through steps. You're skipping over steps, so when you are, seeing numbers, and this type of chosen one, they're able to discern numbers for you in your life. They can tell if something negative is coming in society. Everything is grown. If we're growing food or whatever, everything is mathematical. When you're looking at the sun, the moon, the stars, especially people who understand astrology, everything is mathematical. And when you're dealing with those types of chosen ones that understand that you're, when especially 976, that's a omen that you're going to have to be careful, because you're skipping steps, and maybe something negative will happen before something good happens. So we understand that there are different types of chosen ones that we don't readily talk about, but they are all around us, and I ran into a lot of them, especially when I was a candy lady. That's how I got the name of Oracle, High Oracle, because they was telling me that I was like that lady from the Matrix. So those young people, they were funny. They're real funny, so we have people, we have different types of chosen ones that a lot of people do not know about, and these are the standoffish ones because they're very intelligent, they're very smart. It's going to take them a millennia and a day to come out to the public and open, because they don't like to be seen, they don't like to talk to people. But I'm just going to tell those types of chosen ones, like it is. God said tough. You're not running anything. This is what God told me. You're not running anything. You don't tell me who to pick, and you don't tell me, what gifts I choose to use in a person. So you're going to just have to get used to talking to people, and you're going to be tired because, the angel's going to whoop you down. You're going to do what's right. You're going to use your gifts for what's right. So, this is what I wanted to give you, this message. This is an uplifting message. This is an enlightening message. And I wanted to make sure that, I keep you guys at a way that, in a way that you understand that there are different people that you will encounter. And there are some of them that I left off. There are some of the chosen ones that I left off. The ones that have the telekinesis, I left those ones off. The ones that's very strong in ESP, I left those off. And a lot of those are men. But we'll talk about those at another time. Or you can reach out to me and book your one-on-one life coaching sessions so that I can help you to enhance your gifts. Book your video chat sessions. Donate to my channel. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer, 1212, as I'm saying this. Assalamu alaikum.